Okay. Uh, okay. So
All
for
right.
example,
Uh-huh.
yeah. So for example, if I have like four, sorry, I'm using my mouse. I'm kind of slow. So four
Uh-huh.
x
Uh-huh. That's all good.
plus x
Uh-huh.
equals sorry blank
Uh-huh.
plus let's just say I don't know
Uh-huh.
7x for
Uh-huh.
example.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So what do you think I can put in there that would make this correct?
I think I can put in there that will make this
So
correct.
on the left it's 5x. Oh, oh,
Uh
oh, oh, hold on. I totally messed it up. Can I retry? Can I retry?
yeah, 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 yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay, sorry. Okay.
I mean, I'm terrible at math, so I'm definitely gonna struggle with this.
No, it's cool.
But
Here.
walk me through, yeah, like what the
I'm
students
not
get.
gonna use a x. Let's just say four, which is four plus two. 4 plus 2
Mm-hmm.
equals blank plus um 3, for example.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So basically on the what number can I put in the blank
Uh-huh.
that would make both sides equal?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Three, right?
So yeah, perfect. Yeah. So you say yeah, cool, 3.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
But is there another number that I can use to put besides 3?
Uh, another number
Or
like
what else do you think I can
two
put?
plus one or something.
Ooh, yeah, good job,
Uh-huh.
sir. So if
Uh-huh.
I were
Uh-huh.
to
Uh-huh.
put
Uh-huh.
2
Uh-huh.
plus 1,
Uh-huh.
that also works. What else
Uh-huh.
can I
Uh-huh.
put? And then, like, just doing this,
Uh-huh.
it opens up a whole plethora of
Uh-huh.
people participating. And
Uh,
that's what you want, right? Like,
mm,
shit. Well, I can also even do, I don't know, um, I can do 2. So we say, well, 2 plus 1
mm-hmm.
minus 1, for example. And
Mm-hmm.
then some of the kids will start saying, oh, well, what if can I do 1.5 plus
Mm-hmm.
1.5? I'm like, yeah, that totally
Mm,
works too.
mm,
And it even goes for like the kids who are like more advanced. Oh, can I put negatives and decimals? I'm like, yeah, you can.
mm-hmm.
And then
Mm-hmm.
some of you, oh well, I can do 1.5 plus 1.5.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was a good way for the kids to kind of bring in their own ideas. So
Mm,
not only are they, it's
mm,
not just set to just one thing because there's an infinite amount of solutions. And
mm,
then you have a lot more students who are more willing to participate. And it's
mm,
crazy because like they start saying, "Oh, I feel so smart." I'm just like, "No, dude,
mm,
you've always quote unquote been smart." But
mm,
it's a great way to open the class because that everybody starts wanting not. It gets to a point where like everybody else
mm,
has their hands up. Okay, I can't take anymore. Like it's only so much
mm,
that I can write.
mm,
And that's kind of what I had in that
mm,
picture. You can apply it to like decimals or fractions or variables, which is really crazy. Um, yeah, because even some kids would even be like, oh, well, can I have like 5 plus -2, for example, as an answer. I'm like, hell yeah, you can have that as an answer. But it's cool because then like the kids who are not as adept as the more advanced, they're like, oh well, because then they start making the connections, and then like the kids who are an advanced level, then they start thinking of like, oh, how else can I make it that fit? For example, another thing that we've used is which one doesn't belong. And dude, and I've gotten some really crazy ones with this one too. So for example, I don't know, let's just shapes. Like this one, for example, like so pick one that does not belong with the others, right? And you'll get kids that'll say, oh well, this shape doesn't belong because every single has 4. I'm like, okay, cool. Anybody else have a different response? Oh well, I think this one is different because this one is shaded compared to the other 3, and that helps the kids create to really help them with their mathematical thinking and using like evidence based to kind of justify their answer, which is so from a simple exercise like this. It's crazy how much that you can do from that. Um, and then the other thing too is is the choral counting too. Is when you're like, oh, cool, like so using UNG-SANG's idea, how else can you figure out like this and that?
Mm,
Oh well,
mm, mm,
so cause I used it in the class one time too, and because some of the kids saying, oh well, this one doesn't belong, and everybody's like, why does this one not belong to all the others? Well, because, and this is what the kid said. Oh well, if you look at the other three shapes, they're lying flat. It can lie flat on the table, but this
mm,
shape is standing like this, and I was like, dang, like,
mm,
but it's cool. It kind of just gives a highlight to the kids because there's like an infinite, not I'm saying infinite, but it's like there's
yeah, yeah,
a lot of different ways to get to that answer.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It really highlights how there are in life, or in math, really,
Mm,
there are
mm,
many different ways to get to the right answer, which kind of highlights with the
mm,
Common Core.
mm,
Just kind of just having an open mind of how to think
mm,
about certain problems, because when you start thinking this way, we're like, oh
mm,
wait, there's other ways to do this, then you're just not set on one specific way to do that, which
mm,
I think is very important in the way we need to evolve mathematics today. Calculator,
mm,
yeah, it can just do it for you. You have like the internet has like infinite resources, but
mm,
what we really need in the future is like
mm,
people that are that could think outside like the given
mm,
parameters of what we have. And I think
mm, mm,
these exercises are a really good way to not only like democratize like math, because everybody's gonna be like,
mm,
because not only can you contribute,
mm,
you don't feel as like intimidated, and you're like, oh, that you're like this math
mm.
person now. Like, I think I don't know. I'm a geek for like math, but I mean like,
Mhm, mhm, mhm,
but I think it's just like so powerful. Like,
mhm,
I've had kids whenever I would do this, like who never like speak at all. So like, oh, I want to talk, like I want to give my idea. So when we go into like the lesson, like the kids are a lot more like they're like warmed up, right? Like, all right, cool, I could do it too now. Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
it's I don't know if that makes sense, but
It makes no sense. So how do you think this connects, like this way of teaching? Like, how do you think that connects to maybe whether you're already doing it or like in the future you're trying to do it? Like, how does it connect to like being able to expand students' like sort of real world minds, so to speak, right? Like, you were talking about like in this day and age of Corona and like all, this crisis,
yeah,
like students need to be able to talk to each other about like their circumstances and these community issues and the way that the economy is set up and like all those things, right? Like, do you see like a bridge between those two things, or have you been able to
well,
cultivate a
yeah, totally.
bridge between
Because I
those
mean,
things?
like, yeah, because I mean, like, well, I mean, like, because if you start to have a different way of thinking of that, there isn't just one solution to certain things. Then you can start thinking about like, oh well, what other solutions that we can have to avoid having another COVID-19 crisis, or like, what are some other solutions that we can have besides like this sheltering in place, or for example, I don't know, because once you kind of start thinking that like
Mm,
there's a unlimited amount of things that we can, there's different ways you can approach it. I feel like you can apply that to anything, especially with this disease. How can we have approached the whole situation differently? How can we have mitigated the spread of the disease? Like how can we have are there other ways besides just covering your mouth? Or are there, I don't know. I think people get creative that way. I think it's some like, I don't know, it's just math. I'm showing the kids, but I I don't know. I feel like I try to connect like the real world solutions. Like